KFDI, good morning.
Hey, it's Alicia Dennis at People Magazine Investigate.
Yes, Alicia Dennis, editorial director, People Magazine. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Really great. Thanks. All right. So pretty excited to speak to you and have you back on the show. We have lots to cover. The award-winning series People Magazine Investigates has something new and twisty. Surviving a Serial Killer, a new 6-part series. We'll get into all of it. But first, how's the family?
Everybody's good. Thanks for asking. How's everything for you?
Wife and I just moved into a new house.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. Is it fun? Is moving fun?
I mean, it will be fun.
Okay.
Eventually. Right now is not the fun part. You're right.
Exactly.
Like, this is the hard part. But by
exactly.
summer, by like July, it should be fun.
Yes, exactly. That's what we're planning on. So, all right. So as a person involved in the creation of a series like this, it's a 6-part series, one new episode every week. It premieres this Sunday on Investigation Discovery. I want to kind of dig into your viewing habits first. Do you prefer, when you're watching a series, do you prefer a weekly episode or do you like to binge everything all at once?
Ooh, that's such a good question. I kind of like, this is a awful answer probably because I like both. I like to do both, where there's, I'm going to show my age by saying back in the day when you used to get excited to watch, your show was going to come on every week. And if you didn't watch it, you were going to miss it because there was no way to tape it. That's kind of exciting. At the same time, every once in a while when I have, which is not very often, I guess, a free evening to really get into something,
right,
binging is super fun.
And I think it depends on the quality of the show, if it can suck you in. Like my wife and I just binged, and it was the first time I've done it in a long time. We just binged Baby Reindeer over on Netflix, and it was just crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
And a lot of times you feel like you have to, because if you don't, your friends are going to tell you something that you don't want to know.
That is the worst
you gotta
part.
Watch it.
Yeah, that is the worst part.
I know.
Personally or professionally, what's one of the scariest situations you found yourself in?
Oh, wow. I think probably professionally it would be in a breaking news situation,
okay,
when you're on the ground and you don't really know what's happening yet because you can't, and sometimes in those situations when we were covering Hurricane Katrina, a lot of the communications were shut down and so you weren't able to get in touch with people.
Mm-hmm.
So those are probably the scarier parts.
Sure.
Professionally.
Yeah.
Personally, sometimes every time I get on the subway at night.
Okay. No, that's a fair question. And we're going to get more. We're going to get more into that here in just a second. But I think you're right. I think the chaos of it all, the uncertainty of it all can certainly be very, very scary. How do you and your team determine which stories to tell?
Yeah, it's hard. I think in this particular situation, in this spinoff series where we're focusing on people that survived serial killers, being able to find those individuals who are willing to go through the retelling and in some cases kind of the re-experiencing of one of the most horrific things that any of us could imagine, and certainly the most horrific thing that ever happened in their lives. When we find those people who really want to do that, and they think it's important to share that with a very big audience, then it makes it easier for us to figure out how to put these episodes together.
And that's got to be really hard sometime. I mean, the trauma of that and getting, like you say, getting them to relive it and being willing to relive it and advocate for themselves and maybe future survivors, if you will, it has to be incredibly hard. I wouldn't want to tell that story over and over and over again.
I wouldn't think that I would either. And I think you're completely right that what they're doing, what we see pretty often is that there's this sense of strength and really kind of inspiration too for them in telling their story in their own words and through their own view, through their own eyes, in the hope that it will either save someone else, it will help another victim not feel so alone, or that it will also help inform authorities and the people that are investigating these crimes to be able to understand how better to crack open these cases.
Sure. Talking with Alicia Dennis, editorial director of People Magazine. New series is People Magazine Investigates Surviving a Serial Killer. Debuts Sunday with the first episode. Without any spoilers, give us sort of a synopsis of what we can expect Sunday.
Yeah, we delve into the case of Rodney Alcala, who was known as the dating game killer. And we have a survivor of his, Morgan Rowan, who's never spoken out about her story ever. And she's remarkable in that, she not only survived an attack by him once, but twice.
Wow.
And she later connected with another one of his victims, and a girl who was 8 years old at the time that she was attacked, and grew up to face him in court and help put him away. And so these two survivors have bonded together. They share, a horrible history, but at the same time, they're really supportive of one another. And I think it's surprising to be able to see the case through their very unique perspective. Throughout the series, we do that over and over again with different survivors. We have a case in the railroad killer. This was a serial killer who jumped on different railroad lines from California all the way to Florida. And his survivor, Holly Dunn, not only, somehow managed to get out alive, but she started a nonprofit advocacy center that helps, other victims.
Wow.
Yeah, throughout the series, we're just surprised all the way through, and these victims are going back to the places that this happened to them to really actually talk to us about how they felt then and how they feel now going back.
Sure, certainly. All right, some fun questions to sort of finish off here, and we're going to go back to your comment about the subway that you made. With 15 years plus of investigative journalism on your resume, telling some of the craziest, nuttiest stories out there, has it made you a suspicious and non-trusting person when in public? Like, are you sizing someone up thinking, oh yeah, they got someone in their basement?
It's weird. Maybe it should. Maybe there's something wrong with me because it hasn't.
Okay.
I'm just really kind of an open book, and it's funny because I never know where I'm going. I have a terrible sense of direction.
Okay.
And I have one of those faces that everybody thinks that I should know where I'm going. So strangers constantly talk to me and ask me how to get places, and if I were to tell them, I would be putting them in the wrong spot. It's really sad for them. But yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
All right. Something you're into right now that has nothing to do with your job.
Oh. That's a hard question. Why are you going to ask me such a hard question?
It's my job. Listen, that's ironic coming from someone who does investigative journalism.
Well, this is kind of really boring, but it's spring here in my neck of the woods, and the tulips are everywhere. Okay. And so, walking my dog and looking at the tulips and being like, "Oh, isn't it wonderful to be alive?" That's something that I'm enjoying doing right now.
Okay, favorite song on your playlist?
Ooh, right now I'm really loving. Have you ever heard the song "Strawberry Sunscreen" by Lost Boy? I need you to go listen to it right now.
All right, I'm writing it down. I'm writing
Strawberry Sunscreen. It's kind of got a little bit of a thought to it. It's almost like a beach song in a way, like getting ready for summer, which when you have moved all the way into your house, you will really enjoy, and so you should listen to it. Okay,
I'm going to put that on my playlist. I'm going to seek it out as soon as we're done talking. And finally, you're obviously very good at what you do when it comes to investigative true crime journalism. What is something you're not good at other than navigation? We've already learned that. What is something you're not good at?
Sewing.
Sewing.
Every once in a while when I try to stitch up something, like a hem that's fallen off or a button that's fallen off, right. I will do my best, and then it immediately falls off.
Okay.
So I'm not bad at it.
With these hard-hitting questions that I've asked you, do you think I ever have a chance of becoming a member of your team on People Magazine Investigates?
You know what? We need fresh perspectives all the time.
Okay.
And with somebody who's not afraid of asking questions, I think you should get in touch.
All right. Very good. People Magazine Investigates Surviving a Serial Killer debuts. First episode, Sunday night, 8 o'clock Central on Investigation Discovery. Alicia Dennis, always great talking with you. Look forward to the next time we chat.
Thank you. I can't wait.